So what have I been working on here? This is what I've been calling my 4-H fleece project. So last year, my spinning and weaving group purchased a 4-H fleece from the fair and decided that we would all commit to processing it, including scouring and carding, combing, however, prepping that we wanted to do, and then spinning and submitting something for the county fair this year. That deadline for submission is on August 9th, and it is the 23rd, 24th today. I have already spun, I would guess something like 20 or 30 grams. And I'll go into all of that here in just a second. But yeah, like we're pushing up on a deadline right now. So what have I done? So we scoured our fleeces because we actually bought two. We scoured them last October, and I actually led that workshop here at my house. It was a lot of fun, a lot of hard work. Yeah, we scoured it, dried it, and then we divvied up portions. So I got about 3.5, 4 ounces of this fleece. It is a CVM. It's lovely. It's very soft. It's very crimpy. I'll try to show you. Yeah, like that's pretty nice, right? It's got a lot of bounce. It's crimpy. But whoever this is, it was a dirty boy or girl, dirty girl. And there was a lot of vegetable matter in it. It was pretty muddy. And I actually took this lock by lock, and I'll show some very brief clips that I took during this time. I put my hand cards on my lap and lock by lock combed it out. And so that's why my wool kind of looks like this. I've got these like little locks that I actually kind of put together and then kind of hand drafted out into this roving. So it's not the smoothest roving, right? But like it's lovely, it's beautiful. Like look at that. So soft, so squishy. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? Anyways, yeah, so lovely stuff. But it has taken like 5 years, forever to spin this wool. And why? Because I, like a lunatic, decided I wanted to see how thin I could make this yarn. And I'm like so happy and proud of myself for how this is going. And it's actually going a lot faster. So I started timing myself when I picked this project back up. And it took me like 40, 50 minutes to spin a gram. And I just time lapsed it for you guys, and it took 27 minutes. So I measured out about a gram of my wool. I want to see how long it takes me to spin about a gram. And I think it'll take me about 40 minutes. I have recorded myself doing this, but let's put it on time lapse and you guys can see how long it really takes. No breaks. so that was 1 gram. I'm gonna check the recording, see how long that took me, and let you know. Really, really proud of that. I'm hoping I can get faster, but there's only so much treadling I can do in a minute. Like, I'm doing pretty fast at like 80 to 90 treadles per minute. That's pretty fast on my traditional. This is my emotional support chicken. She doesn't have a name yet. She's new. Focus, please. Anyways, she is made from some of my first skeins of hand spun yarn. It'd been just sitting in my closet, and I just decided I would, pick it up, knit something I'd been wanting to knit, and I made her with it. So maybe she can just sit here and keep us company while we chat. So yeah, some of my first hand spun yarn. So I've just been like challenging myself. I thought with this project, I wanted to do something pretty exceptional and submit it to the fair. Maybe I'll get a grand champion. Who knows? We'll see. I have only been spinning now for about 3 years. And this for me is, I feel like, a huge accomplishment. So my goal is to spin up the rest of this and submit it to the county fair in less than 2 weeks. And I still have maybe about 64, 65 grams left to go on this bad boy. What am I going to make with this yarn right here? I've had a lot of ideas. I love knitting lace, but it takes like forever, and I don't have a lot of time right now. And I have a couple of table looms, or I have a rigid heddle, a table loom, and a new to me Mighty Wolf that I have not warped yet. I am thinking that I want to challenge myself further with this spin and weave something with it. So I may still need to weave some warp, or spin some warp. I might do a linen or a silk in a similar WPI to this, and then weave up some wool gauze. Is that crazy? I think it's crazy, but we're going to do it and we're going to film it. So stay tuned for that. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. This could be, when I post it, this could be one of my first 3 videos on this channel. So I would really, really appreciate the support on it. Are you interested in learning a little bit more about the technicalities of spinning fine yarn? Do you want to spin fine yarn? Of course you do. You're here. Anyway, so let me talk a little bit about spinning this fine yarn. What I have learned is that you want to have the highest twist, not possible, but on the upper threshold of twist per inch for holding the yarn together. Generally, you want a high twist angle, so something between 35 and 40. I'm probably in that 35 to 40 range right now. And that means more twists per inch. So more times your wheel turns for every inch you draft out. It's really hard for me to measure that because the thread is just so thin. So I actually take my phone and I hold the yarn against my fingers and take a picture of it, and then use the ruler on my iPhone markup app to estimate what that twist angle is. So yeah, shooting for between 35 and 40 degrees on the twist angle, something like 9 to 12 turns per inch. And what that means is that I am on my highest whirl, or smallest whirl, highest speed whirl. And on my Ashford Jumbo Flyer, I want to say that's something like 12 or 14. I've seen conflicting measurements on that. So if I'm aiming for something like 9 to 12 twists per inch on my yarn, that means that for every inch or so that I draft out, I am treadling once. So my treadle goes down, my wheel, my big side spins once, and then my whirl on my orifice is spinning around about 12 to 14 times for each treadle. So I'm just drafting out slow and consistently, about an inch or 2 at the time. Sometimes I get a little crazy and draft out 3 or 4 inches, but then I will pause and make sure that I'm counting my treadles, and I get, say, 3 or 4 twists or 3 or 4 treadles in to that number of inches. And so that probably results in a little bit higher if I was doing it perfectly. But the truth is, as I'm drafting out, what I think is an inch might actually be inch and a half. And so it does work out. And what I found is that occasionally I will pull my yarn backwards out and off the bobbin just to make sure that there's enough strength in it to actually pull that yarn out. And so if I can do that, that means I feel that my yarn is strong enough. And so with that, I think Chicken and I will keep spinning, and let's see if we make my deadline in 2 weeks.
Doesn't really cost you much more because you already had that system. So what I'm saying, I guess it really depends what was your starting point from a design standpoint, from an operating standpoint. Who was your targeted clientele? What kind of building amenities, windows, physical activity. All right, please ignore whatever is going on here. I worked all day from home, and I've got like 20 minutes until my kiddo and husband get home. So I'm just trying to do a few things. So I have about, what did I measure? Something about 54 grams that I have now spun. Fine Laceweight singles. Let me see if I can get, look at that. It's so squishy, but someone decided to touch it with dirty fingers. So there's a couple of like black spots on it that I'm not happy about, but I don't think you'll notice it once I skein it up. So what I did is that I took an empty bobbin, weighed this, and then weighed my full bobbin. It's probably off by maybe a gram or two. I don't know, but I feel pretty confident. I have about 37 grams of fiber left. I'm getting really tired of spinning it. So what I have decided is that I want to submit a skein to the county fair and to the state fair. So I am going to split the split the fleece in half, or the weight that I have, and I'm going to submit a 45-gram skein to the county fair and the same weight to the state fair. So I am going to go ahead and wind off about 45 grams of this onto my Nitty Knotty and it's gonna take like for freaking ever. It's gonna be thousands and thousands of wraps on my Nitty Naughty, which is kind of why I want to start now because the county fair submission is on August 9th and it is currently the July 30th. So I want to make sure that once I get this wound up, that it doesn't have like so much energy that it's all pigtails, and that if I need to wash it, maybe thwack it. I don't know if I can thwack yarn this fine. But I want to see what I can do to like finish it so that it looks good for submission. And I've like committed to actually submitting something at this point because two of the ladies in my group want are going to be out of town, and so they want me to submit their stuff for them, or at least actually physically take it to the fairgrounds. So I'm going to do that. So let's see how long it takes for me to wind this on my Nitty Naughty. All right, I have my first finished skein of my fleece. This is approximately about half of the total. The one thing I'm really concerned about right now is that although this looks so beautiful, so gorgeous, if I don't have tension on it, look, it's just like, it's like ramen noodles. Um, so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try finishing it, see if that helps. And then I also think I'm going to lightly size it. I've never done this before. And what that includes is I will boil up some flaxseed in water, and it'll create this gel-like consistency. And I think I'll definitely dilute it down from what some of the recipes say, because I don't want the yarn and yarn texture to be affected. I just want it to have a little bit more resistance to shrinking up. Yeah, look at that. So yeah, I think this is a very good evidence of what high twist does in a skein. I'm so excited. This is skein number 2 done. I want to show you guys taking it off the Nitty Naughty. Turned out to be about 49 grams and 1,276 yards. Watch this. There it is in all its glory. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is that I'm going to wash it and soak it with some flax gel like I did with skein 1. Hang it up to dry outside with some weights on it. And then I think this one was a slightly higher grist. And by slightly higher, I mean like I don't think that you can really tell, but mathematically, like it is slightly higher. So I think I'm gonna submit this one to the county fair, and then the one with the slightly lower grist to the state fair. Anyways, I'm gonna get this washed up and show you guys what it looks like, what both of them look like at the end. All right, I am here at the Washington State Fairgrounds getting ready to submit my skein to the state fair. So I'm gonna walk into the gate here and drop it off. I'm so excited. That's it. Very excited. It's several months later now, and I'm finally getting around to reviewing how this whole process went and recapping the feedback that I got on the yarn that I spun. Ultimately, I did get to submit these to the county and the state fair, and I got really great feedback. I have to say, ultimately though, I'm so proud of these, regardless of the feedback that I got. But the feedback was so validating, and I'm happy to share the feedback that the judges gave to me. So I'll start with the county fair skein, and so show that to you guys.
It ended up being, I believe, somewhere around, 1,200 to a 2,000 yards. I had to write it all on the sheets here. And there were forms to fill out, so filled that out when I turned them in. And talks about, what I use to prepare the locks or prepare the wool, what kind of wheel I use, all of that. I even included a little extra write-up, and the process that I use. So I ended up submitting almost 50 grams, 1,276 yards. So about a 1/24 weaving weight is what I calculated. And so then I also noted that it was a 35 to 40 degree twist angle. I also told them that I put in counting ties. And so each one of these represents 200 yards in that final skein. So the feedback from the county fair was that I got 20 out of 20 for visual impact. It said it was clean and properly skeined and tied. Workmanship, I got 35 out of 40 points. So it said there was some over twist, but it was very delicate. So I think that was the one thing that I was most concerned about, because you can see in this skein that there are little bitty pigtails in there. And as I showed you earlier, I did block this to try to remove some of that over twist. And I think this is, there probably could be some over twist in it, but if you remember, I intentionally wanted a high twist angle because I wanted this to be a strong singles for weaving. So I'm happy with how it turned out. Yes, I recognize there's some over twist. I was aware that that could be a concern, but just like recapping the rest of this, and I did get 40 out of 40 on the design and creativity. Is told that it was a very lovely lace weight yarn. So all in all, I got 95 points. I got a blue ribbon for the state fair. This was done, I believe, on what they call the Danish system. And so it just means that there could be like multiple blue ribbons, multiple red, and it's just based on individual merit. So I did get my blue ribbon there. But I am also happy to say that I got a best in show for my skein. So that just means that out of all of the skeins that were submitted, they determined that I got the best in show out of all of those. So I'm very, very happy with my purple ribbon. And so I'm gonna, put this up in my craft room in the back. And so now let me show you the state fair one. So I did get a little bit, additional feedback on this one. I believe this one was the one that I felt was like a little bit better prepared. And I described it as fine lace weight with high twist for use in weaving in the singles category. And so the feedback that I got was, 40 out of 40 on craftsmanship, 20 out of 20 for degree of difficulty, 20 out of 20 for design. That includes proportion, line, color, individuality. And then I just got 1 point taken off, so 19 out of 20 for presentation and the finishing. And so the suggested areas of improvement, I think that says a B. I'm not sure if that means like, like a letter grade, like A, B, C, D, or, if it means something else. But it says blocking and presentation requirements. So it says, wow, your spinning is wonderful. I would block a little more and use some lighter ties. Beautiful work. And so I think, again, this is just block a little more to remove some of that extra twist. And then in the ties, I think they just would have liked to have seen maybe a lighter, I want to say a lighter weight tie on this yarn. It could also mean a lighter color. But on that, I'm not really sure, because they did say to use a coordinating or corresponding yarn for the ties. So yeah, there's just a couple things I could have gotten differently. So I did get a first place in the wool singles category for this. I did not win any sort of grand champion or best in show for the state fair. That's okay. I was disappointed, but I did get first place in my category, which is more than I could have expected for my first time submitting to the state fair, which had a huge range of competition for hand spinning. I am very excited for these skeins of yarn. I do have a project in mind. I feel like I mentioned it already, but it's been, again, 5 months since I recorded much of this video. If I haven't already told you, my plan is to take this yarn and weave it into a gossamer wool. I do plan on doing that on my Mighty Wolf, which I have not yet warped since I've owned it, right? So that is a bit of a daunting task for me, but it's my goal to do that for the county and state fairs this year, and submit the fabric then to those fairs, see how that goes. My idea is that I'm actually going to spend more yarn for the warp, and I'm thinking of doing a 2-ply flax for that. I have purchased the flax, and so we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely share with you guys that spinning experience once I get to it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and got to see and really enjoyed my spinning process for these fine Laceweight singles. If you did, definitely drop a comment down below. Let me know if you've ever submitted something to a fair and what kind of feedback you got, if you thought it was rigged or if you were happy with the outcome. Also, let me know what you think that I should be weaving with this wool, or if you have any recommendations for spinning fine flax yarn as well. Please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed creating along with me, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys in a future video. Thanks. Bye.